Hello learners of English, welcome to the channel. My name is Ben. If you don't know me, I am an English speaker. I live in Russia and I help native Russian speakers improve their English skills. Anyways, I have a difficult game for you today. This game is called Guess the Accent. If your English is really good, then you will be able to guess where most of these accents come from. But even some native English speakers might not be able to guess where all these accents come from. So don't worry if you can't understand everyone in this game, in this video. Don't worry. The voices in this video, the accents, the voices, they come from various different YouTube videos. And your job is to guess where these accents come from. Alright, enough talking, let's get started with the game. But before we start, please press the subscribe button and press the like button. I really need your help in growing this channel. Alright, let's get started. Alright guys, here is accent number 1. Let's get started.
And still somewhat independent social media. Elon Musk, many of you have critiques and condemnation abundantly for him. But what you can say is that how X was prior to Musk's proprietorship was much more in alignment with Meta and Alphabet, and how those platforms were managed and controlled. Obvious examples being what was permissible to be discussed or stated during the pandemic period and the Hunter Biden laptop story.
Alright, were you able to guess where that accent came from? It is an estuary accent. An estuary accent is basically a modern Cockney accent, which comes from parts of London and Essex. My personal accent is a standard Southern British accent. That accent is an estuary accent. The difference between my accent and an estuary accent is that quite frequently people with that accent skip the letter T. For instance, the person in the video, or the person is Russell Brand. He is a famous actor and now he is a political commentator. He mentioned the word proprietorship. He said it like this, proprietorship. So I say proprietorship, he skipped the letter T, proprietorship. He also said the name Hunter, as in Hunter Biden. I say Hunter, he said Hunter, so he skips the letter T. Okay, let's move on to the next accent.
This has been the most fulfilling 5.5 years of my life. I am leaving because with such a privileged role comes responsibility. The responsibility to know when you are the right person to lead and also when you are not.
Okay, that is a New Zealand accent. The person in the recording is Jacinda Ardern. She is the former Prime Minister of New Zealand. The New Zealand accent is very similar to an Australian accent, although the main thing that shows that someone is from New Zealand is the way that they pronounce the letter I. They usually like to pronounce it like So, for instance, I say fish and chips. Someone from New Zealand might say fish and chips. Okay, let's do the next accent.
In that sense, we really listen to a lot of music, you know. I mean, the first time, just to listen to music that play on the radio. Not that we couldn't afford to buy records, so we listen to the radio. And anything the radio play is that we hear.
Okay, that accent was a Jamaican accent. The person speaking in the recording was Bob Marley, the very famous reggae musician. Jamaican accents are very friendly and warm accents, although they can be very difficult to understand because Jamaicans also use a lot of special slang that we don't have in England or America, and also the accent is very heavy. So good luck trying to understand the Jamaican accent if you are learning English, but it is a great accent. Okay, let's move on to the next accent.
We've got some famous celebrities to talk to tonight, some not so famous. Some of the celebrities here tonight, when I was researching the show, I had to start their Wikipedia page. There are celebrities in here who don't get asked to turn on the Christmas lights in their own house.
Okay, that accent was a Glaswegian accent. A Glaswegian accent is from Glasgow in Scotland. The person speaking in the recording is a famous comedian called Frankie Boyle. He's a very funny, dark comedian. In that clip, he was actually speaking quite clearly, but in other clips, his accent is really, really difficult for people to understand. For me personally, it's not too difficult to understand because I grew up in the UK, but if you came from America, it would be so difficult to understand the Glaswegian or other types of Scottish accents. Anyway, let's move on to the next accent.
But the election was very much focusing on migration. And clearly he got the upper hand in the election result. Now, we are famous for having to form coalitions. It takes a long time to do that. So that could still take another couple of months. So we have to see how long that takes. In the meantime, I'm there. But I'm absolutely convinced that on the fundamentals, our outlook.
Okay, that is a bit of a trick question because it is not a native English speaker. The accent is a Dutch accent, which is from the Netherlands. The person speaking in the clip is Mark Rutte, who is the former Prime Minister of the Netherlands. The Dutch speak excellent English. They speak English so well that they might as well be native English speakers. Mark Rutte's English is so good. He speaks English without making any grammatical mistakes, and his vocabulary range is so large. So I would essentially call him a native English speaker, but with a very, very heavy Dutch accent. Okay, let's move on to the next accent.
Which was the thing itself. For example, check out this card. I want you to be my Valentine. To fully grasp what this card is trying to communicate, you have to know something about American Valentine's Day traditions, specifically what it means to be my Valentine.
So that accent is a Canadian accent. Canadian accents are very similar to many standard American accents, but the main difference between a typical Canadian accent and an American accent is the way that Canadians pronounce the letters O-U. It's more like O rather than ow. For instance, in the video, he said a boot, which in American English or British English, we would say as about. Okay guys, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know what score you got in the comments section, and let me know how difficult you found some of those accents. So stay tuned for more interesting English language learning content, and please press the subscribe button and the like button if you have not done so already. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time, and bye for now.